how I do it. But this morning when I was driving here, someone DM'd me on TikTok. And I'm still learning TikTok. I don't really know how to respond and stuff like that. Could you do a video when the guy says he didn't feel the spark or connection? Every TikTok video is about the girl not feeling the spark. I was like, fascinating. Cause I try to respond to everything, you know, and when people ask that question, so I guess he might be in a situation where
it's a guy.
It's a guy, okay. And yeah, he's asking, could you do a video where the guy says he didn't feel the spark or connection? Every video is about the girl not feeling the spark, kind of like you saying, I don't feel butterflies. Girls kind of always do say they don't feel butterflies. They're like, oh, I don't feel the spark, feel that. So this guy is asking for me to do a video about that. I'm like, I've never really experienced that, but I would say to walk away. You know, like why waste either one of your time, especially if she's feeling that energy. So if a girl's feeling a spark or has some type of, oh, I really like you, right? You're not feeling anything, then you should politely walk away. Don't waste their time. So it's like, that's how I'm going to respond to that video, like in a polite way. Like,
hey man, well, we're on right now.
Yeah. you're kind of like wasting each other's times.
Like if you don't feel that special sparking connection.
If that's what you're looking for, some people will never experience that their whole lives. Mm-hmm. You know, you can ask, you know, older people, like I've asked older people who are married 20, 30 years, and they'll tell you like there was never a spark. Because you think about like the old movies, like this, 300. You know, you are king of a king. You're a king of a town, and then there's another king of another town. You want to bridge the gap, so you offer your daughter, and that's how, you know, daughters were dating like 16 years old, 20, 25 years old, you know, guys, because they had like they're the next up for kingdom and stuff like that. So it's just a trip, like how we have all this freedom now and we're confused. But there was no videos and people complaining about it back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, they just went with it like it was their purpose. Like, you know, if you watch the shows, and it's very interesting where women's like, this, I have to do this. Like, my dad's grooming me for this. This is what I have to do. And now we have all these options and we're indecisive.
I think that's what it is. Too much freedom and too many options.
Yeah.
Because back then it was more like what you knew you had to do in your obligation.
Right.
And you didn't really have the option to think like, well, how does he make me feel? How did he say this? How did he say that? It's like, okay, well, it's what I must do, so I'll make the best of it.
Right.
And my mom always told me that if she had to survive in this day and age with technology, she think it'd be a lot more challenging. Like, she doesn't know how we do it.
Yeah.
Because navigating this with technology, relationships, love, connection, it's so challenging and so difficult.
Right, because you just swipe left.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, or you're just like, I don't like that. And then there's this other person you can immediately connect with. And that's not respectfully fair for those like that have challenging moments where they're going through troubles in their relationship, and then they can just someone else will give me the dopamine release.
Yeah. It's like, let's say our parents, they might have had been like, your dad might have had only been the best option in his town. So it's like, you know, I'm not going to say I know how they met, but like before internet, all you had to do was look, I'm the best option right here at this school, so you're going to like me. Now it's like you're competing with the internet, and some girls will be confused. Even guys like can be confused by interactions on the internet with real life interactions. So like, I'm sitting right here in front of you and I might do something wrong, but you go scroll and these guys are saying what you want to hear. So you're like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with that because I got 10 other options. But are they really options if they're far away? If they're not right there interested, because they can be doing that to 30 different people you don't know. So it is fascinating with dating. I'm glad I'm married, you know. And to me, marriage, it's more work maintaining a spark than it is finding a spark, personal opinion. Because let's say you find the spark, you have the butterflies, do you think they just stay there? So let's say you met the guy and he gave you butterflies on the first date.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling all this. Do you think it stays there for the rest of your life? You have to maintain it.
But you can go back to that.
Right.
Like like you're talking about, there's this element of if it makes sense. Some people never find their spark, and some people are just amazing, so it makes sense for them to go together. But if they don't have that spark they can go back to, then they're just friends.
Yeah. But what if you can't find the spark again?
Then you keep waiting, you keep looking.
Right. But what if you're already with that person based off the spark you felt? That's what I'm trying to say. So you're looking for butterflies, you're looking for a spark, you find that guy, but then after a year it dies out. A lot of relationships, they stay together, they have kids, they built the family off that, and then they lose that spark. And it's like, that's why I said it's like work, and they're hard to get. Like it's not a spark and butterflies. It's just a feeling that you have. It's a feeling that I have. Like, oh man, this girl made me feel this way. But when something does in your head or how you feel changes that, do you leave that person? No, you stay with that person. So why can't you get with someone without a spark to you?
Because passion and love is everything.
Right.
Like, you can hold on to your childhood memory of falling in love, but what do you hold on to when, you know, when you fell in love with a guy or started falling for him because he was mature, he had everything he needed, he had money, he was wise, he was good with people. Yeah. And then when things get hard, you're like, well, at least you have a good way of talking, or at least you do this. But when you're in love, like when you're passionately in love with someone and things go bad, you're like, okay, as long as we have each other, because that's what it started with and that's how it's going to end. Okay. And in my opinion, that's what, like, if you do fall in love, it's because you found that passion, and even when things go hard, you can depend on that. Maybe it's immature of me, but like that emotion, that passion that just makes you do crazy things.
Right. No, it's not immature of you. That's what everyone wants. So why do you think the divorce rate is so high? Because people had the passion, they had the butterflies, but the divorce rate has never been higher.
Well, it's like society, how society has been evolving. Like technology, it's insane that, you know, you being a married man have access to 500 people. Right. You have literally, you can probably text like 40 people right now and get all women, all of them reply, and your wife not know about it. And that's insane. Yeah. But, you know, you have morals, you have standards, you've built up to be who you are, so you wouldn't do that. But why wouldn't a guy that maybe whose wife is kind of crazy, why wouldn't he do that? Or maybe when his wife is just like so busy with being a mom, with hustling, with doing her thing, with showing up as, you know, the mother, as the wife, like she can't really be attentive to him because she has stuff to do. And vice versa, she could be doing the same thing. He's always working. He's always just busy with work. So why can't she just go somewhere, go to the gym, go to some spot where there's like this guy that gives her all this attention? Right. But again, back then it used to be very simplistic. Right. And technology is extremely distracting. And then also we have too many options.
Do you think that attention is currency?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. You know, that is a trip. And I think when you do find the right person, you like, for me, I don't pay attention to the distractions and stuff like that. I'm happily married, and it's taken me a while to get there. You know, I'm 35 years old. That's why, you know, I preach, like, you know, because I've been younger in relationships, that for men, I'm a men's advocate, so I kind of speak for men, that it's not in their best interest to date young because, you know, of all the options. And let's say you're 18 years old and you get with your high school sweetheart, the butterflies, and you guys build together. Then you turn 25 and you get the life that you want and deserve, and women are throwing that attention at you. You're only as faithful as your options. But if you went through the experience and you dated 10 girls, or, you know, slept around with a couple of girls, and then you found one after, like, you know what, I already know what that's like. This is gold. Like, this girl right here I've never had someone motivate me. I've never had someone get my back. She edits my videos or whatever it is. Like, you're like, I'm good off that. Yeah. But when you're young, you know, as a guy, like, and you get in these relationships, then you get the life, and the girls are like, oh man, look at him. Then that's when you kind of stray. And same thing with girls. I think that the same thing, maybe you can tell me, you know, if you get with the first guy that you're with, and, you know, it gets hard for you, then you start getting attention. Like, he's working, he's grinding, giving that life that you want. Other guys are giving you attention that he can't give you, that you never experienced. You never had it because you've been with this guy since you're 17. Do you act on that? Like, how do you not act on it when you've never experienced it before? It's brand new to you. So it's like you said, it's very, very hard with the internet. It's very, very hard with all these options coming at you, because it's never been like this before. And it's only going to continue to get worse. Yeah. So it's like, what do we do?
What made you find the spark in your wife?
It just kind of happened. You know, I met my wife at a microwave. And
what is that?
Like food. Like, she was doing her meal prep. I was doing my meal prep.
At a gym?
No, we're at work.
Oh, okay.
And she put her food in the microwave. I put my food in the microwave. She's like, oh, you do this too? And I was like, sometimes. And then, you know, it kind of just grew from there. Like, this was in 2017. We got married in 2021. And she was just everything that I never experienced before. And that's the cool thing about, I did it. I think I did it right in the first place. Like, because in high school, I experienced women. You know, I didn't have relationships. And then I got married when I was 26, and that's why I frown upon that, because then you don't really know who you are. I changed a lot in my marriage, and she wasn't with my change. You know, when I got with her, I was partying, I was doing this stuff, and then in that marriage, I got sober, and I started doing Herbalife, and I started, you know, coaching and turned my garage into a gym, and that wasn't her. Like, she didn't like the fact that I invested $2,000 on a squat rack and stuff like that. So it was always an issue. And that's why I'm like, you got to know who you are. Because I did change. I went from a party guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and I grew up. And sometimes you don't match no more. So like, really, we just grew apart. And now I'm with someone who I do enjoy working. We work out in the morning. We meal prep together. We enjoy cheat meals. We don't, you know, drink a lot. You know, I don't drink at all. She doesn't drink a lot. And it's just that perfect thing where you can build together, because if you're trying to build something this way and you're with someone that's going this way, it's too much work to try to, like, you know, like when you got a magnet and a magnet, you put it together and they don't go. Mm-hmm. But you need the A and the B, which is polarity. Mm-hmm. And it's been working, you know. It's still work though, maintaining that spark and stuff like that. And communication is key. Like, you have to be willing to communicate about the tough things. A lot of people don't even talk about sex in a relationship. I never talked about sex in my relationship till now, you know, because it's that important, because you want to make sure that you guys are satisfied, both of you, you know. And sometimes I'm done. Oh, you didn't get, okay. And then years go by like that. Years. And then that's how cheating happens. And it could have been stopped with like, hey, you know what? This is what I like. I'm learning myself right now. I think this is what it is. And open communication, because people don't want to talk about that. Like, people just don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're good. Like, how PG-13 is this?
Well, whatever.
Okay, we're good. Okay. So it's like, that's just something that you have to communicate when you're in a relationship. And the only way that you're going to learn the things that you like and stuff like that is by enjoying life a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with living your life. And, you know, it's just different for men and women. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, everything is different. We can't have a one way fits all.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you talk about sex and stuff like that, because so I'm a Christian, mm-hmm. and the way I was brought up is we don't talk about it. The goal is to never do it until you're married. Right. And the irony of being raised that way, especially with how culture is today, hearing how all of my Christian friends navigate them having sex, and just learning how to be really quiet about it.
Married or not married?
Well, married couples don't talk about sex very little. Right. And then the ones that aren't, they'll really only talk to you about it if it's like they're done with it and past it, you know, it's their testimony now. Maybe it wasn't classy, or very secretively, but because they don't talk about it, they end up in damaged relationships and don't really know why. Or there's like this weird aspect to it where I'm like, well, if we talked about it more, then we might be having healthier relationships, especially as Christians who believe in marriage. Yeah. But no one talks about it, because it's like, if you do it, you're bad. Yeah.
And that's like something I think that's kind of outdated, because, you know, I'm Christian, I'm really religious, and I believe in marriage. Like, I totally believe in marriage. I preach marriage at the right age. Mm-hmm. Like, I think things have changed where you shouldn't be married off at 16. You know, you shouldn't be married off at 18. Yeah. But like, I think, you know, women and men mature differently. So I think a 21-year-old woman can marry a 27-year-old guy, because he's already been through life a little bit, and that person can guide him. Because you're supposed to go from your father's protection. Mm-hmm. Like, is that the way, right? Like,
if you have a dad.
Right, if you have a dad. So let's talk about that. Like, I have a daughter. She's under my protection until I pass her off. And I'm going to do it that way. Like, you know, I don't care about sleep. I'm not talking about, oh, you can only sleep. I'm like, you need to ask my permission. Like, every boyfriend, I'm like, don't you ever propose to my daughter until you talk to me about it. Mm-hmm. That's how it's going to be, because I want to make sure my daughter is going to the right man. And I want to have that relationship with my daughter where she trusts my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you know what? I don't think this is the right guy for you. Or I do think this is the right guy for you. Like, I hope that I'm doing a good enough job to have that bond with my daughter to where she does come to me, because when I pass her off, I don't want her coming back. I don't want her coming back. Like, hey, she's yours. Good job. You guys go do your thing. If you need help, I understand. Men, I'd rather help her husband than her. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you're not doing it right, bro. Like, do this. Like, hey, my daughter's not, let me help you do this. Versus having conversations with her, because that's how it's supposed to be. Like, she's under my protection until I pass her off. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's important to me. Mm-hmm. That is important.
And that's the goal. However, I think that's outdated. Like, dads are not involved anymore.
That's their choice.
That's their choice. It's also cultural. Yeah. Like, because my dad, he's more so the way he is because of his cultural background. Right. But when I see different families, their dad's just not involved. And that's a whole different relationship guidance where it's, they just do it on their own, all by themselves. Their parents don't know anything. Their parents aren't involved.
That's a choice. Because you're under your dad's protection still.
But what if your parents just aren't involved and they don't care?
Are you involving them? Are you keeping it from them? Are you afraid of them? Or are you having that open conversation to say, you know what, fuck you. You're on your own. Because I don't think that happening. A lot of times we keep stuff from our parents. Yeah. Like, we keep stuff from our parents, and then they don't know, and they think that they're doing this, almighty thing, and they're really doing this instead of coming to them, But, you have to practice that young. Like, I tell my kids all the time, like, hey, you'll never get in trouble for coming to me. Like, I don't care what it is. Just come to me. Like, if you want to experiment with drugs, come to me. Like, I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to show you how to do it safely. Because if I don't, they're going to do it on their own. I would. Like, my dad don't want to support it. I'll find a way. Like, so I have to be that cool parent. Like, try to be like where there's consequences, and there's also you got to learn them on your own. Yeah. Like, I can't tell you what the consequence is. You're gonna have to figure it out. And I try to have that because I understand, like me, like if my parents don't let me do something, I'll find a way. Facts. So I think that way with my kids. I'm like, they're going to do it without me anyway. So as long as I show them that they can trust me and they can come to me and I'm not going to break their legs, then I think that through time, when they're 16, 17, they'll still come to me. So I do that now, and I continue to tell them, hey, there's consequence for everything. We'll get through this. Even when they're doing bad in school, like I'm like, hey, there's a consequence. And my son, I did something. What's my consequence, Dad?
Dang.
Like, yeah, just like that. What's my consequence? I think that's a consequence in itself, you asking me. So do better. Like when they know something's going to happen. And it just takes that. It's a lot of work. Everything's work, but to me, I rather my kids come to me for everything and know that there's consequences than hide it from me. Like, my son will come tell me about what he did at school before the teacher does. Dang. And when he does that, I respect it. Yeah. And I'm more lenient. Because when I find out another way, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And he knows that I'm going to be way worse. Mm-hmm. So he'll be like, Dad, I do this. I'm like, oh, well, the teacher didn't email me yet. He's like, I know, but he's going to. About 5 hours later, like right before bed. Jasper was this. I'm like, yeah, he already told me. We already took care of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I try to keep it that way. He knows that if I find out, I'm like, Jasper, read this. I'll make him read it out loud. Because he'll be like, it didn't happen. I'm like, read what this says. Jasper was in class. Okay, Dad. Well, so it's more embarrassing that way. He's 9.
Yeah, that's a difficult age.
It's more embarrassing for him to read it out loud. Yeah. So that way he just tells me his side of the story. Like, okay, this is what happened. I don't care what that email gonna say. He gets ahead of it because I used to make him read it out loud, and his face would be like, oh, I don't want to say this. And it's just continuing to build that trust and bond, and hoping that it stays that way as they age. But I think, when you say, what are the parents? I think every parent wants to be involved in their kid's life. It's us who don't want to involve them. Personal opinion.
As like a parent.
Yes. Like, I lost my virginity. I don't want, or like even that, like before you do that, you need to get on birth control. Or you need to learn about safe sex, condoms, STDs and stuff like that. So you have to come talk to us. And sometimes they don't. And then that's when stuff happens bad. And then we find out the hard way. So it's like, I don't see how, unless the parent's not in the life. So sometimes that happens. Courts get involved, and then I understand that. But if you have a parent at home, I think it's a choice for the child who doesn't involve the parent versus the parent saying, I don't want to be involved in your life. Because they're there. Of course they want to. They don't know. Yeah. They just don't know.
Yeah. Did you plan on having kids when you had your kids?
Yes, I did. So I had stepkids, and I didn't want kids yet. I wanted to wait, and I had a rule: don't date women with kids. But I did. I dated women with kids, and I got attached to the kids. I'm like, well, I'm already being a stepdad, so I might as well just have my kid. And I had Jasper, and then a year later, I had my daughter. They were planned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are your advice on a woman that has kids but is a single mom and wants to find someone?
My advice?
Well, yeah, because you just said I had a rule where I wouldn't date someone with kids. That's a lot of guys' rules, and it's kind of like a common sense for them. Like, she doesn't have kids, yay! Yeah. It's unfortunate, but what about for the moms who are like, all right, I got kids, I can manage my life where I can go have some free time. I want to go find someone.
To just be them, to be honest, because we say that, but when we meet a girl and we're wowed by them, we're not gonna. Okay, oh, you know what? No, like I can't get the kid. You know, like you just gotta. I would keep the kid away as long as possible. You know, like not introduce. Because even with me, like you don't want to introduce your kids to everyone you talk to, and then just build something with that person one-on-one, and eventually the kid it's just going to be like having a DUI or having something that you have to explain. Like, you know what, I'm a felon. You know, I didn't tell you in the beginning, but I just want you to know that I did this when I was 18 years old. It's on my record. Oh, it's fine. I already love you.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think that it's because even I got with a girl with kids, and I think that's every guy's role. Even girls have that role, like never date someone with kids, but then you end up dating someone with kids because, you know, there's pros and cons to every single person. So when, like, you know, you write down your list of people, like, this is what I want this girl right here, and then you put you got to have, let's say you're looking for a guy, you need to have the must. Like, I am not compromising this. This guy has to have a job. He needs to drive at least a 2018 Honda. He needs to have this. He can't be overweight. I compromise this. I'll compromise these things. So if children are something you'll compromise, then you'll compromise that. If it's not something you're going to compromise, then you're not going to compromise that. Most people are open to compromise with children when they find the right one. Because people make mistakes. And as long as it's not like so for me, I go by the guy. So if you had a bum baby daddy, then I can't mess with you. But if I can respect your baby daddy, then shit happens. You're married.
Define a bum.
For me, just someone who has no motivation. Like, you know, someone who doesn't want to do nothing with their life. They just want to chill. You know, they have no ambition. Like, to me, a man's ambition should be higher than a woman's. You know, it's going to be hard to be attracted to a guy that has no ambition. But sometimes love happens and, you know, you fall in love with the dream and it just never happens. So that's why, like, when, you know, if I'm dating someone that does have kids, I go by, I look at their baby daddy. Like, well, who's your baby daddy? What does he do? Let me look at him. Like, oh, he's a respectable person. He's like that. Oh, you did a good job. You make good choices. If he's freaking just posting pictures of weed all day, I'm like, I'm above you, because that's who you chose to have kids with. What women need to realize is that the best gift that they can give someone is a child. And what us men need to realize, the best gift that we can give someone is our last name. We control that. You control that. So it's like when you give that, like if you, let's say I'm divorced and we're dating, wouldn't you want to know who I picked? And what if she was whack? Like what if, like, dang, that's it? Like, that's what you picked? Like, wouldn't that come into your choice?
Yeah.
Like my ex-partner. Like, what if my ex-partner wasn't really that dope? Like, you would be like, maybe something's wrong. I don't know. But if, let's say, she was doing this, or just a great mom, or whatever she was great at it. You're like, I can respect that. I can get along with that. Like, okay, you made good choices. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. People grow apart. So I have a philosophy, and these are just my opinions. You can't outgrow your partner. You either grow together or you grow apart. Like, if you can't be with someone and outgrow them, you're either gonna grow together. Like, you bring that person with you. Like, hey, look it, we're gonna stop eating Cheetos. I need you to stop eating Cheetos. We'll do it together. Or that person keeps eating Cheetos and you grow apart. Like, it's done. I'm not gonna outgrow you, because that means we stay together. Like, it's kind of like that's holding me back. Like, we're spending this much money on Cheetos right now when that money can be going towards our retirement, and you're not getting with the program. You know what I mean? So, like, you grow apart, and there's nothing wrong with growing apart. Like, in this day and age, like, marriage, to me, I would like to see marriages go back to forever. That'd be nice. You know, but you have to live your life a little bit, because the old philosophies don't work. Women want to work. Women want to have businesses. They want to have careers. They want to experience. So it's like back in the day, the exchange was, I'm going to give you this kingdom. You're going to give me your virgin daughter. That's the treat. You know, now it's like, not everyone's virgins. So it's like, okay, what does she have to offer? What was her background? What was this? And same thing for guys. We have to start screening each other, because I've been married twice. I'm not a hypocrite. I made a bad choice, but I've learned from that and I moved forward with it. But I thought I was the respectable age. I waited till I was 26 years old and had my first kid. I didn't have him young. Like I thought I had everything that I needed.
So you didn't know yourself at 26?
I changed. My son, I didn't. So I did, but my son made me change. I'm a high school dropout. When I got my son, something snapped. I went to college. Dang. I went to college. I told the school that, they like, we need transcripts. I'm like, the school burned down. And I kept playing them, and they let me go to school. When I graduated, they're like, I can't give you your diploma, until you give us a transcript. I'm like, well, the school burned down, so either give me my $18,000 back or give me my diploma. And they sent me my diploma.
What school did you say?
I went to for exercise science, just fitness. I just wanted to get something to where I wanted to show my kid that I went to school and that it's important. So like, he's in a struggle in life, and I got a 3.5 grade point average with my kid. So whenever he goes I have a transcript. Like, hey, I did it. You can do it. But I would have never did that without my son. So I did change. Like, to me, I was the bum. I was a bum with a good job. And when I had my son, something just snapped in me. I'm like, you know what? I got to do better, because he needs to outdo me, and this is too easy. This guy's too easy to beat. I got to be way better to make him try harder. And I changed a lot. I stopped drinking. I started doing more fitness. Like, I never worked out in my life until I had my son.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I started my journey for him.
9 years ago.
Yeah, about 2012. So he was born in 2013. I was pregnant with, 9 months. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't really have that child focused mentality anymore. It's really all about self and how you can thrive, how you can flourish, especially when it's already hard enough to financially survive these days. Yeah. But people are realizing at the end of the day, to have love, to have a family is pretty much like what your soul yearns for eventually. I've only met a few people where they're like, I don't want kids and I don't want to get married.
Do you believe them? Mm-mm. Me neither.
I mean, I've believed that maybe they've been heartbroken, and I believe that maybe their parents weren't a good example, and they're like, I never want to put my kids through that. Right. I just think it's kind of our genetic makeup to desire that.
Well, what are you here for? Like, what do you think God made us for?
To have a family.
Yeah, to keep going, right?
And like, so when you die, you can have something to leave behind, and just like go in peace, like die in peace, knowing that you left behind children that are going to leave a mark on the world and do the same for their kids. Exactly. But that's old fashioned.
I think it's still today, because it's our genetic makeup. So some things never change. The way we think changes, but how we're built, we have the same amount of bones. We still have the same amount of eyes. It's not like you have a third eye, so I think it's still in our genetic build. What happens is we choose careers and stuff first, which I can respect if you don't have kids, but like I had the kids, so I had no choice but to level up. I wanted to give my son better than I had. And, I don't want to get into like my whole thing, but like, I just wanted to be a great role model. Like, if my son can hang a picture on the wall, I didn't want it to be Dwayne Johnson. I want it to be Randall Burton. So I just want to become that person for him. And, it's amazing when I hear my kids brag about me and do this, because I strive for them. And I think that's everyone's, like, we all want that. We might not admit it because it's so far-fetched, but everyone wants to be with one. I think, like, we want to be with a person. We want to have love. We want to have a spark. Men want that shit too. Like, don't listen to none of these guys say that. They're players because they haven't found someone to give that up for. Like, we have to, like, you want to take me off the market. So why have one when I could be single and have 10? For me to get rid of those 10, you gotta be special. That's all it is. It's not that they don't want it. It's like, why give that up? Like, I'm already doing good on my own. I'm already doing this. I've already created this whole value, because men have to create value. We don't have a choice. If a guy doesn't have a value, you don't want him. It doesn't matter what he looks like. That doesn't matter. Like, he has to create value. Like, what do you do? Oh, I do this. And even if you fall in love with that ambition in a year, you're gonna check on that. Like, hey, bro, like, told me you're gonna start a business. Where's it at? And you might give him another year, and then after that, it's kind of like, man, social media has all these guys. They're looking at me. They're giving me this attention. They got the businesses. Hey, sorry, And sometimes women are afraid. So that's why they cheat. Same thing with guys. We're afraid to be honest. We're afraid to be adults. Like, why do you think cheating happens?
Boredom, unsatisfaction.
But don't you think it's fair to not just man up and say, you know what, this ain't working for me?
Yeah.
Like, why cheat? And men are gonna hate me saying this, but I don't care. This is my philosophy. I'm not gonna cheat on my wife. I'd rather, hey, you know what, this isn't working. So either we're gonna go get a throuple. A throuple is like a third girlfriend together, or no, it's gonna be forever. Like, I refuse. I'm never gonna cheat because I love my wife, and this is what I do. Like, I wanted this. It was my choice. It wasn't. I wasn't lonely. I was like, she wowed me, and I think all guys want that. But women rather have careers now, so it's hard to find that. So when women tell me, "Oh, go ahead."
Well, I was gonna say, how do you become the girl that makes it worth it to drop the 10 other girls for a guy?
Everyone is different. For me, it was just having someone that believed in me. I wouldn't be speaking on the internet without my wife.
Wow.
No, I wouldn't. She believed in me. She told me I influenced her. She's like, you should do it. And then when I set dates, I would be afraid. And she's like, I thought you said you're going to get on YouTube. I thought you said you're going to do that.
Dang.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I would do it. And even if I only got one like, she'd be like, I'm proud of you. Like, keep going. Like, you're doing good things. She'll leave those little small comments and tell me you're doing good. Like, and it keep me going when no one else is there. Because, when you start something, no one supports you. And I've always had a cheerleader. I've had my wife and I've had my kids. My kids will watch my stuff and they'll tell, oh, my dad's on YouTube to the teachers. And the teachers are like, oh, so you're on YouTube? I'm like, oh.
Dang, that's so cute.
Yeah. So it's like, that right there is worth everything. Like, someone who just those re-encouraging words, that's what we need, like, and just like when a woman, like, I support her, but I got a second job to pay for her school, because I want her to have that, because women have purpose too. I don't think, like, that's one thing that's changed, where I don't think that women are only made to be moms. I think they're in better moods when they are, though. I think that there's women who choose to lead, and a lot of women who are in leadership positions, like, all my bosses are females. They're stressed out. They're stressed out more on the masculine side. Feminine women like servicing. They like nourishing. Like, you'll see, like, they're smiling. They're happy. That's something that you want to do. You want, like, I want to do this. And that's awesome. My wife does nails and eyelashes. Beauty's Beast too. You guys check her out.
We'll shout them out for sure.
Yeah. And that's her, like, she loves it.
Yeah.
She's passionate about it and she's happy. I rather like die than have her do something that she doesn't want to do. That's my job. I'm married. I'm supposed to go do the shit that no one wants to do. You should do what you want to do.
I agree with that.
You should do what you want to do, so that way you want to nourish our children. If you, like, it's hard. Like, I feel for moms who have to go work a shitty job, come home, cook dinner, and do. I get it. You got to pay 50%. It's hard, but when you're doing something that you love and you're more happy and you're good, that relationship's gonna blossom, because you're happy and you're making your own money. Like, that's all women really want. I don't think they want to, like, make enough to pay bills. Like, they just want to do their own thing. Like, I want to be able to buy a Gucci purse for $500 if I want to buy it. I want to be able to have my own stocks. I want to be able to do this, but you can do all that and I'll do this. So the exchange is, I'll be the mom, I'll do that, but you need to make sure that you cover me so I can go make my own money, because that feels good. Like, who doesn't want to make their own money? Even a girl dating a millionaire wants to make her own money, because that's, like, it's, I don't know why, but it's just a part of it. Like, I think every girl wants to make her own, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It just needs to be enough to do her. I think that's what really women want. But in the time, like, while they're single, they're building these empires and doing all this stuff. But what if you can just get into someone else's empire? And, like, okay, I want you to run this department. Would you not do it?
Like what we were talking about?
Yeah, you're getting a salary. You're running an apartment. You're helping him out. Like, I was talking to Daniel when we were on the podcast. I'm like, what if you made an editor? Like, so your podcast is doing good. You're bringing in $5,000 a month, and you gave her $1,000. And now she works with you as a partner. You give her a title on your legal Zoom editor. She has everything. She's making money, and she's your partner. To me, like, I don't, like, don't you think wouldn't you rather work with your husband than work for another man?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you had the choice, other than doing your own thing, like, okay, I'm going to go work for Bill at Bill's Burgers, or you know, my husband's doing this, I'm gonna support him and bring him here, because it takes a lot of people to get something going. So I think that's more efficient, you know, and being able to work with your partner might be a little much, but
yeah, well, that's what I saw with my parents. They built businesses together, and so that's like normal to me seeing them do that. And I mean, like I would like to play the more so stay-home wife, to really like invest that time in my kids, and that's why I don't mind working so much now. But I also I love working in its nature, but it was normal for me to see my parents working together.
Do you think you could really be a stay-at-home wife?
Yes. Why? Because I know that with what I'm learning, I'll be able to run businesses from my laptop.
So you're still working. That's what I'm saying. So would you be able to be just a mom? I think that's outdated. Because like you said, like, okay, I'm gonna be at home, but I'm working, you know.
If my husband or person were to give me like the money for like adventures where I could be more like maybe invested in homeschooling opportunities and helping the kids, but even that you can call a career, because I'd be teaching or traveling and just making everything educational. That's a funny question, because it does seem outdated, but when I am like imagining my future, I can just see myself totally available to my kids, but also always making time for like passion, purpose, helping others.
Right, which is what women are good at. So the title homemaker, we can agree that may be a little outdated, because that's what it was. Like, okay, my husband is a businessman, I'm the homemaker. It's that's definitely outdated, but it's cute sometimes, you know. Like right now I think there's a trend between a very small community of people where they're like, I just want to run away, get a farm, and have a big family. You know, that's a community of people are talking about that, and I'm like, that does sound fun, and I would like to be in touch with reality, because I have a big family and maybe to see them here and there. But that sounds really cool, just to get away. And if that was the life, tasks wouldn't be like just staying home and being a mom. It'd be like going out, milking the cow. And that's it's so old fashioned that it's so cute. Like I would be down for that. So is this life without social media?
Well, it has to be, because honestly, how could you live a life like that and then go on your phone and see something else? But my cousin did it, and me and her are very similar. She moved to Colorado, and when I see the life she's living, I'm like, dang, you did it. That looks beautiful. And I think I want that one day. Just, I'm a California girl. Yeah.
I would love to live off the grid and make my own meats and grow my own stuff like that. Like, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. But that's the other thing. Like,
that's retirement plans, you know. Like, when I retire, I don't want to like live in the city or anything like that. I want to live far away. I don't care what state it is. I just want to have acres and just be secluded. Yeah, acres.
That's like an old-fashioned craving that honestly doesn't die. Yeah. To be able to own land. Yeah. But I was talking about this yesterday with someone, and just the fact that, or the question, would you rather be able to find the person, the love of your life, and create your own family with this person, knowing like that's the desire of our hearts, or be able to help 1,000 people get up on their feet, live a good life, like really help them get out of trouble? Ooh. 1 million people, 2 million, but 1,000 feels like so much and realistic that it's like, which one would you rather have? You get to have both, you know, you get to, but for me, when I think of, you know, having neither right now, I'm like, whoa, that's a challenging decision, because that's 1,000 families, that's 1,000 people that can help 1 million people, 7 billion people. The impact of one person is pretty phenomenal, but at the cost of your own happiness, of your own family. Yeah,
I think that's the women's question, because we don't get the choice. Yeah. Women get the choice. Women can choose to go do that, to do this, to do that, where we have to create value. That's the only way. So if we don't create value, we're not going to get that first option. There is no family. You know, there is nothing like that, because we're not going to be seen. You know, and we can't like, so it's unattractive for a guy to be a stay-at-home dad. So it's like, let's say you're married with a guy and you made $1 million and he made $0. Would you still want to sleep with him if he was the stay-at-home parent? But I'm going to be attracted to my wife for being a stay-at-home parent. So we don't really get options.
That's weird. But I'm old fashioned. I'm mindful of that.
But even if it's not old, let's talk today. So you got a couple, right? And you're starting a podcast with Bill. You and Bill have your separate podcasts. Your podcast pops. His doesn't. But you're already married. So, okay, well, since my podcast is busy and I have to go on tours, you stay home with Josh and Jill. Then you go on tours, you do all that stuff. Do you come back? Are you attracted to this man?
I would want to say yes, because we build that together, and I couldn't imagine having a husband and keeping things like separate, mine and yours, you know.
Right.
And maybe it's better that way.
So you're telling me you're gonna be I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you're gonna be feminine and attracted to a guy that does dishes, does the chores right there, cooks your food for you. You come home, it's all ready for you, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna put that lingerie on for you, baby. Meet me in there in a minute.
Okay, I really don't want that.
Right.
But if we were to fall in love young, and there was that spark, and I wouldn't divorce someone for that reason. I wouldn't want to leave him. If we had kids involved, I'd put up with that.
Right. But the spark is the masculinity, right?
Yes.
So, and I'm not knocking guys who stay home. I'm just trying to show that we don't get the choice.
Yeah.
Because if that choice was presented to us, a lot of guys would do it. Like, hey, I would do it. Like, I tried to. Like, in my first marriage, I hated my job so much that I created an Herbalife business. And I was making like $1,000 a month. I'm like, hey, look, I'm making $1,000 a month right now. I'm going to get more. But we're paying $2,000 for daycare. Now we can stop paying that. You got your career, you'll work. I'll get my $1,000, then $2,000 is like $3,000. I'll do that stuff. That lasted like 3 months. And then she told me to go back to work. She made sure I went to work. Like, because to me, if a woman might envy that. So it's like, wait, even though he's making a little bit of money, he gets to stay home. He gets to be the dad. Oh no, that's my job. And I think that could happen. It happened for me. I'm serious. I was doing Herbalife. I was making money doing Herbalife. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck that job. I'm going to take the kids out of daycare. I'm going to use them as pawns. We're going to go to the park. Hey, I got kids too. Let's do shakes, I'm going to make $5 a shake. I'm going to start generating money because I just always had that in mind. It lasted a little bit. Then I had to go back to work because I built a lot of leave to test it out. So I had like 2 months worth of leave on the books where I was still getting paid just in case it didn't work. But I was generating money. I'm like, hey, I'm about to run out of leave. I don't want to go back. I'm having fun. No. And we ended up getting divorced. But back to the point, like, if that was the case, I think that a woman might envy that.
Yeah. And
a woman might not be attracted to that. There's no way. Like, so when I go to work, when the guy goes to work and he does all this stuff for you, you're thinking, okay, I want the attention. I'm going to go buy this from Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret's interesting story. I read the story of Victoria's Secret. It was bought by this guy and this and that, but it was built by a husband and wife.
I did not know that.
I just learned it, and now it's what it is now. But why do you think it's so popular? There's, of course, women just want to feel sexy, but a lot of the times I want to do this for my husband, or I want to get this for my wife. Like, that's what it's for. So it's like, would you want to go put all that effort in for a guy that's sitting at home? Mm-mm. No.
And I think it's like so special to know that someone's really working hard to be able to like take care of you, to spoil you, and just coming home, like that moment of when he comes home and you get to be like, oh, I made dinner, or oh my gosh, you're back.
Now reverse the roles. You coming home, are you like?
I'd be pissed. I'm like, you've been on your couch all day.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Right. But we know, so in my head, I don't question my wife because the house looks good, the food is done. I don't care what she does with her time, But it's just feminine energy. Like, that's okay. But when it's masculine, like, you're like, wait, I'm looking for a man. Mm-hmm. Like, you're doing what? That's all you did was pick the kids up from school? Like, you should be doing something else, Like, it's just, we don't get that choice. We don't get that option. So, like, as far as, like, living off the grid and stuff like that, like, would you trade for 1,000? That's like I was saying, to me, those are women conversations because that's not an option for us. Mm-hmm. If we want to be respected, if we want to have value, if we want to get the girl, we're going to have to go out there and get our hands dirty. That's the only way. Mm-hmm. But you can have that. Like, I want to get this one guy or save 1,000 lives. That's a good option for you. That's a good question. But you ask me that, I'm like, well, I have to get my hands dirty. So is this paying money? Like, am I getting paid for the 1,000 lives, or am I just doing this to be a good person? Because only women can make those choices. You know, because a woman can get that opportunity and still, you're saying sacrifice the guy, but you're still going to get a guy. You can be doing all that and there'll still be a guy waiting for you. But if a guy doesn't go out and create value, we have nothing. No one's looking for us. How many guys do you go out, you look out, you go outside, and you don't even pay attention to? You know, they're not even seen. You know, and that's why I do, you know, what I'm trying to do, and, you know, boys to men, because I'm trying to help boys come into men. And part of it is just like, we all, not all dudes are players. A lot of these guys don't even get the opportunity to present themselves because of what they say, what they do, how they act. And women don't see them at all. Most women want the same dudes. Like, I can put one guy here that everyone wants and 10 guys here that will be faithful. They make $100K, but they don't have the right mindset. And the girls are going to go for this guy.
Okay, give me 3 things that will give a guy more attraction.
I think, well, before you can, you have to look apart. So your appearance, you know, you want to make sure your hair is cut, you have a style. I think you need to have your own style, because so many people follow trends, and sometimes trends don't work for you. Like, if I were to put like a little, you know, little cross earrings, that's not, I wouldn't even feel comfortable in that, but it's trending, so many people do it. I'm looking like, that don't even look right on you. Like, what was your style before that trend came out?
Yeah.
So find your way, your style. I've had the same haircut for years. I don't change it. You know, I had the same style. I don't change it. So this is who I feel comfortable being, and it's going to attract people, and it's going to turn people off. Knowing, so that's one. And I think knowing that you can't attract them all is a superpower, because guys get scared. So, hey, can I have your number? No, I'm okay. I have a boyfriend. I'll never talk to someone again. You need to know that you can't have them all.
Yeah.
You can't win everything. And some people are going to tell you no. So that way you keep going. That's a superpower. And then I think the third thing is just knowing when to talk and when to listen. Because some guys might get the opportunity, but then they think like the telling their story and all this other stuff is going to be attractive, when that's going to friend zone you. It's better to just say the least amount, because you're going to start questioning. And you're like, dang, he won't fucking, I'm going to crack this motherfucker. You know, I'm going to, dang, he had one on this date. He said 3 words. I'm going to go out with him again. He's going to tell me something. You know, it becomes a game for you because it's competitive. Women are competitive. Like, and when we just give it to you, you don't want it. Like, if we sit here, you can be attracted to someone too, and I'm like, I'm going to tell you my life story. I'm going to give you everything right now. And I'm going to pay for the meal, and I'm going to bring you flowers. Like, I didn't do nothing to deserve this. You know, it's going to turn you off. Versus, like, I'm going to earn his attention. Like, women want I truly believe that women want to play that game. Like, not like I'm competing with 10 different girls. Like, I want to earn you. Like, I want you to give me something without, just for free. Like, okay, I know I'm pretty, but you're giving me too much. I want to earn it, you know? And like, I think being mysterious is the best thing a guy can do, because when you're just a little bit mysterious, and that's what worked for my wife. Like, she didn't know much about me, you know, and she got to learn me, and then only she got it. So she knows a lot about me that nobody in this world does. And she knows that because people are like, he doesn't talk. Yeah, he does. He talks to me. You know, and that's what women want, that privilege. Like, you know, when a guy's like, you first meet him, like, well, who else do you tell your life story today? Like, it's kind of just annoying. So I think just the mysterious, having that superpower, knowing that you're going to get rejected, because you're going to keep going. And looking apart. Those 3 things right there. Like, because you got to look good. Like, you got, I have a motto: look good, feel good, smell good. You're ready for the day. So if you don't look good in your own skin, and you're not comfortable, you're not going to be confident. A lot of guys have the little bellies, and they don't feel good in their own skin, so they're already walking around unconfident. When you work on yourself, you go to the gym, and I'm not telling you have to do anything crazy. You just have to be your best version of yourself. You know, you want to be comfortable. You don't want to, you know, out of breath and stuff. You don't want to smell like cigarettes. Like, so those are things like for dating. We talk about that later. Like, some guys, I understand why you're not getting girls. I'm like, bro, like, you can't do that. And I was one of those guys. Like, I remember I went on a date with a beautiful girl. I was like 22, and I got hooked up, and she liked me too. I went drunk and smelled like cigarettes. She told me, she's like, you smell like cigarettes and like you've been drinking. I'm like, yeah, I've been drinking. I never saw her again. Blew it.
Dang.
I blew so many great opportunities with women because I didn't know how to act. I thought like, being this way or being this way is going to get me in, but it's like turn them off because women who have good minds and good brains don't want that shit. They don't want it drunk. They want to see you be you. You're auditioning. I like to put that way. Like, you're auditioning for the spot. Whether it's boyfriend, whether it's rotation girl, whether it's, we're going to go out, we're going to hook up, Friends with Benefits. That was a great movie. The one with Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Yeah. That
started so many situational ships. And sometimes that's good for you to just have those things while you're on your purpose. Like, why get committed with someone when you can find someone who's grinding too that you can hook up with and keep it quiet? And I'm not advocating that, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not advocate it? Or why not do it?
Why do you advocate it?
I'm not advocating it. Like, I'm not saying that this is the way of like go. I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with that. So like, why? You don't have to be, hey, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, you can go about your day, go on the date, and end up just being friends with benefits. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. But guys will fuck that up. There's guys that have those opportunities where the girl's just like, you know what? I'm grinding. I got this going on. I just want to have dinner with you and hook up with you. I want to be with you. I love you. I want to. I'm done with that. Because some girls might find some, like, they might not be ready to commit at all. But everyone has needs. And sometimes the guy that's quiet, the guy that is mysterious, the guy that has all those attractions can be that person for them. Hey, you know what? Let's go to dinner. Because who doesn't want the opposite sex companionship? Like, who doesn't want to do that? Mm-hmm. Like, name one person that doesn't want to just go to dinner with no strings attached.
That's true.
Or, you know, it doesn't even have to be super friendly and stuff like that. Like, just like, hey, how was your day? How was your week? Man, I was doing this and that. Yeah, cool. All right, let's go.
I don't think people do that very much anymore.
Do what?
Go on dates.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Never mind.
No, go.
No, I was telling you that I go to the gym and I come home.
Right.
And anything that happens outside of that is pretty spontaneous for me.
Right.
I work, gym, home.
Right.
And so I'm like, wow, like if we were talking about this yesterday.
Okay. So what if you found a guy that did the same thing that you did, but didn't want to press you into a relationship, and you casually hooked up with him? Would that be like, no, I need marriage? Like, what if it just happened? Like, you know, you met a guy that's doing the same thing that you're doing, but he doesn't want nothing from you. You don't want nothing from him. And occasionally you guys hung out. Like, what?
Why would he want nothing from me?
Because he's busy just like you are. Not everybody's looking for a relationship. How many girls do you know that are not looking for relationships?
A lot.
Right. But do you think they're not looking for a man companion?
That's true. I don't think a lot of girls have the capacity to be friends with a guy.
I didn't say friends.
Companion.
Companion.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a male companion?
That's true.
Who doesn't want some, like...
So, but a companion you make sound like a sexual partner. A friend is non-sexual.
It can be whatever you want it to be. It's a companion. It's more than a friend, less than a boyfriend. More than a friend, less than a girlfriend.
And you think that's a good arena to be in if you're just not going to get married yet, testing the waters and gaining experience in life?
I think that it's more valuable than a friend zone.
You told me that I friend zoned someone. What's the difference?
So, I believe in the fun zone. Yes. So, you're going to, in life, maybe not right now at this stage in life, but eventually you're going to want to have some fun. And not having any strings, not having like, okay, a guy that's saying, hey, I want to be your boyfriend. Like, no, just someone, and more than platonic. Like, sometimes, I'm not saying you plan to hook up with this person, but just that person that, you know, hey, how's your week? My week's good, bitch, too. You want to hook up? Let me go get dinner. You do dinner? If you hook up, you hook up. If you don't, you don't. But you have that option, and you have that door to where you don't need to settle for anything, and you're not even looking for it. Because I think a lot of people, I think men are looking for relationships. They're out there, and that's what closes doors. And I think women are not looking for relationships, and that's what closes their doors. So, like, it's intertwined because guys go into this world, I want a wife. So every girl they meet, they come with that type of energy. But what if you just went through the world like, whatever? Like, I'm going to do me. I'm going to be on my purpose. Oh, you're cute. Hey, you want to go get some food real quick? Yeah, cool. And you didn't cross the friend zone. I didn't do anything bad. You're attracted to me. So normally you friend zone someone when something goes, like, it's just like, yeah, I can't see myself with you. What if you could see yourself with someone, but you just weren't in that position? Like, you're like, you know what, man? I'm this close to my bachelor's degree. I'm this close to my shit popping. But you are awesome. And you didn't fuck up. What would you do? You have to, like, you know what? I'm going to be in a relationship with you. No, why would you not just be companions?
Not friends.
Not friends.
Interesting.
I mean, it's just another way of thinking because, like, everyone has needs. And most of the times, women friend zone guys. I don't see guys walking around here saying, you're going to be friend zoned unless the when men are creepy. Sometimes women are like crazy, you know, and that's when, like, you know, I can't fuck with that. But everything to me with the opposite sex is an audition, and it's just, sometimes it happens a lot faster to where you friend zone that person. But what if you never friend zoned him? Like, what if he did everything right and you're super attracted to this person? What do you do? But you're not in a mood for a relationship. You're not even close to that thing. Like, you're like, you know what? I want to knock this out first. But fuck, if it was someone, it would be you. Do you lose that guy forever, or do you occasionally hang out with him? Keep that door open. Never friend zone him. And it's not like a everyday thing. Like, he's busy. He might have people he's dating. You might have friends, you know, guys you work out with, stuff you're doing. You might have guys you're running your business with and stuff like that. You just, but this guy right here, I kept him there in this little circle because he was awesome. I just didn't have the capacity to date him. He was too busy for me too. But hey, what are you doing this month? Oh yeah. Let's just fucking go to Vegas. Let's stop what we're doing and go to Vegas. Wouldn't it be nice to have a let's fuck everything, go to Vegas for a weekend person?
Yeah. And
there's no strings attached, and that guy didn't mess it up because when that guy's like, I love you, that's when like, oh shit, boom, friend zone. Oh, I really want to be with you. Oh, friend zone. But what if he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get back to my business. Damn.
See, my only theory is I don't know if one's heart capacity could handle having a really special moment like that with someone, then being like, all right, well, bye.
Then if your heart can't handle the capacity, then you should get with that person because he's doing everything right.
Whoa. You're mind blowing me. This is crazy.
I mean, if he's doing everything right, okay, so you have a guy and he blows your socks off, but you're not ready for a commitment. If you friend zone him, he can't get out of the friend zone. If he friend zones you, you're not getting out of the friend zone. But what if you're just companions? I'm just talking. Like, this is, we're having a public rant. We're having the questions, right? Like, I'm not saying this is happening. I'm not saying it should happen. But what do you do?
Would you, let's say your daughter's 20 years old.
20 years old, okay.
Would you be in favor of her listening to this and applying what you're saying?
If she wasn't ready for a relationship, and yeah, I would.
Nice.
If the guy is about his business and he's not a creep, he's not trying to get her pregnant. Some dudes will have sex with you and get you pregnant on purpose. So, like, I'm not saying I would. Like, as long as she talks to me about it, you know, beforehand. Because to me, like, I don't want you to marry this guy. I don't want you to get married at 20 at all. But you have needs. So what do women do? They might get married at 20. They might get pregnant at 20. So it's like, the guy that you meet at 20 isn't the one. Unless he is, hypothetically for my daughter. So why don't you just go date him for a little bit? See how he is. You know, before you say yes to him. Before you commit to him. Because there might be someone else out there. You know, and as a father, yeah, in this day and age, I think I'd rather my daughter know for certain than to think it.
Yeah. And kind of get to know different people. And as weird as it is to be like, get to know the world, have that experience, it's so healthy.
And I'm not saying like do it because like, let's say you're 20 and you get married at 26, but you've had that guy that you went to and that was the one. Then you got married, so you slept with two people. You've been using him as your boy toy. you know? And then you, instead of getting drunk and going out and having all these mindless encounters, you know, where your bed's like 20 deep. Like, what if you just had that one guy? And then you got married, you're two. Like, you're still precious.
Then you have to cut off the one.
Well, he was up for that job in the first place.
Exactly. I don't think people are worth cutting off like that for pointless
Then you
pleasure.
would marry him.
No.
Well, what are you saying?
What I'm saying is there is needs.
Right.
And then there's people. But as soon as you find your person, you're maybe the one you end up staying with for a long time, then you have to cut off those that you got with.
Right.
But I don't think people are worth cutting off like that.
So you would not be able to move past your companion?
No, more... oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, same scenario. Okay, so you find that one person, you have to cut people off. What about all your friend zone people? Because if I'm marrying you, you got to get rid of those motherfuckers too.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm not ready for marriage.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like, the one companion that you had, you're saying, oh, I don't think I'd be able to cut him off. But anyone that doesn't marry you, you got 5 guys in the friend zone, fuck them. They're called orbiters. We call those guys orbiters. They're orbiting around you, waiting to get at you. You got to cut them off too. So what's the difference? You think someone's going to marry you with 5 guys in the friend zone and let you keep those relationships and go to dinner with them and go to the gym with them? You think a guy of value is going to allow that?
See, this is a problematic conversation because, yes, I do.
So
No.
you marry a guy and he has fucking J-Lo and...
Say Rihanna. I can't stand her.
Rihanna.
Selena Gomez.
He has all these girls in the friend zone. And he's, hey, I'm going to go to lunch with Selena Gomez right now. You okay with it?
No.
I'm going to go to lunch with Ariana Grande. Hey, J-Lo just hit me up. I'm going to go train her. She wants me to help her with her Pilates. It's okay, wife. I'll be back.
Wow.
Are you okay with that?
No.
So why would he be okay with that?
Right.
It's just food for thought.
See, but like those kind of things, like, you know how I am. I freaking have a podcast. I talk to people, you know, ideally 2 times a week. And then I have my own social life which is really just the gym. And
so you think you're special?
I don't think I'm special.
That he's going to understand that.
No, I just think that, like, would I rearrange my life just to be able to attract a high value person that's okay?
I'm not saying you attract. You're already married to him. You already got him. So you guys, he has a Royal Grande, Selena Gomez and J-Lo in his friend zone. And you got Ben Affleck, someone else. I don't know guys that girls like. Channing Tatum's put him in the friend zone. They're in the friend zone. It's totally platonic. We get married. Can I work out with them?
Depends.
Be honest. Be honest. Hey, I'm going to go on a trip with the Rio Grande. We're best friends. Nothing. Don't worry about it. You have nothing to worry about.
If she doesn't dress classy, I wouldn't like it.
How can you control? You can't tell her what to wear. Does that mean saying, oh, well, he's fit? Wait, this guy has abs? You're hanging out with this guy? Like, look at him. Baby, look at you. But look at him. And you want to go chill in a room by yourself with them?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I could. Yep, I wouldn't like that.
You're gonna have to cut off both.
And that's why I'm gonna have to wait a long time to get married because I enjoy.
Okay, so until married, what do you do for needs?
Pray.
Okay, that's fair.
No, yeah, you're right. Your philosophy is right.
I'm just having a conversation with you because it's important, you know. And same thing with guys. Like, I think guys jump into, like, I meet you, oh, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
Automatically, and that's what gets them out the door.
Yeah, and I think it's also guys have more freedom talking about these kind of things, definitely. So that's why I'm like, yeah. But I was talking to one of my best friends about this, and she'll date and she'll go swiping and stuff like that, and she'll just be like, yeah, so I'm talking to this guy, it's really fun, but he was texting me and he just said this, and oh, it was terrible, super cringy. So I cut him off, blocked him. Right. And then he found access to her on Instagram. I was like, oh, I didn't think I did anything wrong. And she's like, double block. Like, this is, yeah. I can't stand that.
So would you rather deal with that than have one companion that gets it?
Someone like me would, yes.
So you rather go deal with creeps and you rather do what that girl said, like, oh, I blocked him, I did this and did that. What if you found one on Tinder and he got it? He wasn't creepy. He gave you your space. He didn't bother you. And then every so often you guys just hung out. It doesn't have to lead to sex, but what I'm saying is it's not a friend zone. Because we automatically friend zone people as soon as we meet them.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Like you either are a prospect, even if you're not looking for a relationship, you meet a guy. What do you think? You're either a prospect or a friend. Mm-hmm. To you, like in your mind. Like, hey, either I'll see where this goes. Or you're cool. Like, I really like your personality, friend. I'm closing that fucking door. Like, you have no chance. But I think you're awesome. I want to be a part of your life as a friend. Like, how do you look at the opposite sex? Is there in between? Like, maybe he'll be my friend. Maybe, no, like, I think...
Honestly, I do feel like when it comes to the opposite sex, like, I'll just have, like, 2 different zones. Like, you know?
So we're agreeing.
I guess we're agreeing. I mean, we have been agreeing.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be better? I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Well, because, like, I'll be a flirt with one and then be super platonic with the other.
Right. So the one you flirt with, then what?
The one that I flirt with does not know anything about me, and I like it that way.
Right. So let's say 3 months go by of flirting, then what? And he doesn't fuck up. Because most of the time in that flirt, you're just waiting for him to fuck up, right? Like, he's going to do something like, wait, he hasn't fucked up, then what?
I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if he didn't fuck? What's wrong with a companion?
Nothing.
He's already a companion. You flirt with him. Like, you're giving him that kind of ego boost that he needs, right? Because that's all guys really need. Like, they go through the day, they slay dragons. You know, they're not dragons here, but, you know, the bills and the jobs and, you know, and then a nice little, hey, that's a nice shirt, or, you know, whatever, however girls flirt, whatever. Like, you are entertaining that to him. And then there's the guys that there's no flirting. Like, it's straight business. Like, hey, what are we doing today? We do whatever. That's it. But there's those guys you flirt with.
Yeah.
That's a potential companion. Because you're not looking to settle down. You shouldn't look down. I don't think you should walk into this world looking to settle down until it's time to settle down. And you're going to know by that person that, you know, I tell my wife all the time, like, she's like, why do you love me? We ask each other, we make up shit. I'm like, because I contemplated life without you and it's better with you.
That's so cute.
And that's like really how I feel, because like I do contemplate. I've done it before. I'm like, okay, if I don't marry this girl, like, how's life gonna be in 5 years? I'll keep you. I rather, yeah.
Because, I love that. That's very simple.
Like, I contemplated life without you, and I can't. I wouldn't want it that way. There's some guys who are like, can I get rid of? Yeah, life fine. It's the same. Sorry. There's girls that, you know, life's gonna be the same without you.
What about those people that you thought life would be better without them, but you can't stop thinking about them? Maybe because they were your first love or something. I don't know.
So, with the right person, they all go away.
With the right person,
the
thoughts will go away.
All those thoughts go away.
Oh.
So, I look at it like this. This right here is a house, right? And let's say you're giving your podcast 20% of the rent, right? Mm-hmm. So, in your house, you're housing that. Then you're also housing your first love. And sometimes you can't get it back. And he might have imprinted you to where every guy you meet, you think of that one person. And nah, he's not. Because that guy was just amazing. Like, he was this, he was that. And he's going to live in your head until you evict him. And the only way to evict him is to either grow so in love with yourself to where it's just like you in there. Like, this is what I have. My podcast here. I got church here. I got my homegirls here. I got this here. I got my family here. There's no room no more. You know, until something like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna put this guy in there again, or you replace him. You know, sometimes people live with that in their head forever until they find that one person and they evict them and they fill it back up. So when you meet that one person that can evict all the other people, I think you should stay with that person. I'm not gonna lie, I've had people in my brain, you know, but my wife evicted them all. I told her, you rent my whole space. So, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that person that you don't share, because that's how cheating occurs. Like, if, let's say you have 20% of your brain for a person and they only occupy 10%, you're not fulfilled. So what do you do with the other 10%? Your brain is powerful. You know how powerful your brain is. It can literally make you eat a cookie right now. Like, I'm on a diet. Your brain can overpower. Like, you like Mel Robbins? The what is it? The 1, 2, 3 rule. When like when you get out of bed, you have issues. She's like, you gotta say 1, 2, 3 and jump up before your autopilot kicks in. Your subconscious kicks in. So if someone's renting, you got 20%, and someone's renting only 10, and you're with this person, what are you gonna do with the other 10?
Wander.
You gotta get the person that fills the whole spot. So put it on paper.
Can you share that philosophy that you shared with me?
The paper?
And the reticular activating system?
So like it's like the reticular activating system is when for like my car, I have a Dodge Journey, right? And we wanted a family car, so we go look, and they had like a Honda Pilot, they had this, they had that. I'm like, everyone has that. I seen the Dodge Journey. I've only seen Dodge Durangos. I never seen this fucking car in my life, So we buy it. As soon as I pull off, there's a black one, there's a white one, there's an orange one, there's a green one, there's a purple one. I'm like, everyone has this goddamn car. That is your reticular activating system. And once something's important to you, you see it.
Yeah.
So I think that people who, want to avoid red flags and they want to avoid issues should write down what they want. And when you write down what you want, I truly believe that your brain will filter out the rest. And it's only going to accept what you wrote down. Because Simon Sinek is? Mm-hmm. He's super big on, using pen and paper and getting your chemicals in your brain to do its job. We do stuff on our phone and it doesn't give the same energy because that's not how God made us.
Yeah.
So it's like when you write stuff down, something happens in your brain. I don't know the right dopamine. The words, like I'm not going to misquote myself. But when you write stuff down, it's more important to your brain. And it's like affirmations. Like when you say affirmations, I truly believe like if you affirm something, it already happened. And what you're doing today is a time machine. Mm-hmm. So it's like, when we were living with my parents and I wrote down, my kids were happy when we walked into the house. I worded it different, but I was affirming that we already had the place. So I told my kids, we're in a time machine right now. It's already ours. This is what we did to get it. So right now, this is what we did to get it. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to dating, when it comes to finding that right partner, I think you have to write it down. Because before I wrote it down, I accepted anything. Oh, you got a cute face and you're crazy? I'll accept it. Oh, you got a nice butt and you're crazy? I'll accept it. Oh, I'll accept it. It doesn't matter. You're just going through the world like, I'll take whatever I get. But when you write it down, it automatically filters out. Like you start seeing the matrix numbers in your head. Like, no, I'm okay. Yeah. And then you'll go, oh, he has everything but that compromise. I remember, let me get my notes. Compromise. Okay, he has a drinking. How much do you really drink? Mm-hmm. Do you really drink? How? Really? Give me an average, because I wrote down no alcohol, but I drink a beer a week. Done. I can compromise, because you're never gonna get what you put on paper.
Yeah.
But it's gonna help you not accept less, if that makes sense. So it's like if you want a person that is 6 foot tall, and you write it down, then everyone below you're not gonna go. Unless that's the compromise. Some people say height's compromisable. For me, I like short women. It's uncompromisable. I don't want a woman my height. I want to 5 foot to 5'4". I love that. So I wrote that down. My wife's 5 foot.
Wow.
I wrote down curly hair. My wife has curly hair. Nice eyes. Because I like to be able to look in your eyes. You have nice eyes. I don't want devil eyes. And it doesn't matter what color it is. You just want to have nice eye shapes, everything about it, Mm-hmm. Write that down. Then what's the compromise? Kids. I got kids. Who the fuck am I to say you can't have kids anymore? That shit sells. I have 2 kids. What else are compromises? Your income. I don't care about a woman's income. I don't. Why? Because a happy woman doesn't want to pay bills. They have to. But when they get with a guy, on your list, I'm pretty sure you're not going to put, he needs to pay 50%. I mean, you're going to aim high and you want a guy that already has his shit together, who can do it without you, but if he tags you in, you got his back. Mm-hmm. So that's my wife, my support system. If I need help, she helps me.
Dang.
No questions asked. Hey, you know what? This happened. Okay, don't worry about it. Or this happened. Don't worry about it. I got sick of COVID. Don't worry about it. She's going to tag in. We DoorDash, whatever we got to do to make it. We'll do it together, And when you go to this list, and I think it's important for everyone to write down their magic partner, mm-hmm. because you're not going to settle for less. and they're out there. Like, people say they're not out there. Well, you don't know what it is. It's in your head, and it's a unicorn. But once you put it on paper, it's a person.
Yeah.
We have these unicorns in our head. When you put it on paper, it's a person. And you might see him right there. You might see him right there. Like the Dodge Journey. No one had that car. No one. They're everywhere. I've only seen the Dodge Durango. I've never seen that car before until I bought it. Same thing when I had a Buick Enclave. I bought a Buick Enclave. Never seen it.
What is
before.
that?
So, exactly. But when you get the car, like, everyone has it. So there's some things that you never see because you can only process so much information. Do you really think you can process everything? You cannot. It's just impossible. So that system makes it important, and then it's gonna filter out the other shit. So you might be seeing bum dudes or dudes that aren't attractive and this or that because you don't know what you're looking for. But the other guys, they're far away. They're in the back in the corner. You just can't see them. They're blurry. Like your camera. Sometimes when you don't do this, it's blurry.
Yeah.
And you go right on it. So it's the same thing with your partner. It's the same thing with your job, your career, everything. You got to put it on paper. I have notebooks of my whole life.
Journal writing?
Yeah, like goals. And when I wanted to change my life, like anything that I thought would motivate me, I write it down. My mom gave me this notebook. My stepmom gave me a notebook, and I wrote down everything in it, like every single thing, and like everything that came to my mind, I would just write in it, and it came to life.
Yeah, my mom taught me the same thing when it came to like journal writing everything.
Yeah.
And something she also did was have us do dream boards.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because we did dream boards since we were little. And the thing that blew my mind is the fact that I look back at these dream boards like 10, 20 years later because we made probably one every 5 years. And like the things we had on the list were outdated.
Okay.
And then the things that we wanted, we ended up attaining. It was mind blowing because I remember it was like a blue Bluetooth phone. Obviously those are outdated. We have far beyond, but there was like little things. And for me, it was always like the ocean, it was surfing, it was people, it was family. And like, I realized a lot of the things on that list happen because when you see it, when you focus it.
Got the protein in my eye. Good?
Yeah, you're good. And that's the power of the reticular activating system. Knowing what you want, seeing it, visualizing it, writing it down, and then your mind will do this, for lack of a better word, magic, and make it happen.
Agreed.
And just like I talk about this a lot, about how women are kind of hard on men, and I think men are hard on women because we have the freedom to express our opinion, and those videos will go viral, but it's like, I hate men. They do this and they do that. And this guy did this, but it's like, oh, you've trained your reticular activating system to only see terrible men. I don't blame you. But imagine if you said, men are good. I'm around a lot of good guys. Then you'll either be around different people or you'll start seeing different people in the room of the same crowd. Yeah. And because that's how I trained my mind. And I don't get encountered by creeps. I'm surrounded by pretty classy people, and I could credit that to the reticular activating system.
Yeah, because they're there. They just, for some reason, they don't. Your magic, like you said, filters them out. While other girls focus on the creeps. They focus on, you attract what you are. You attract what you think. So it's like, if you want to, so you got good guys. Now make your dream guy. If you're willing to do a dream vision board for your life, why not for your partner? Because your most important thing is the partner. I would say at our age, whether you're 20 or 50, the person you choose to give half your life to is super important. Super important. Because the business can go, your house can go, everything can go. But that partner, that you choose is going to be the person that's going to help you get out of it.
Why do you think people keep getting divorces?
Choosing wrong. Not knowing, like, I got divorced is because I didn't know my partner. Like, I didn't know me enough to pick a good partner. I actually went off of what I had as a child. So, like, what I seen in relationships, I thought was normal until I felt love. And when you feel love, you're like, oh, that's not how it's supposed to be. Yeah. Like, there should be some type of magnet attraction to where you pull to that person. So there's gonna be lust and then there's love, and there's nothing wrong with following lust. Classy people don't do that, and that's why I offer the companion. I think, because you got needs. I don't want girls to deal with dicks, and I don't want guys to want to wife up the first girl. So like, what's wrong with just being companions? Having that one partner that if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. Like, we already and of course feelings get involved and stuff like that sometimes, but the man needs to have purpose, because a guy with purpose won't force a woman to do more than what she wants. Like, there's guys out there that will try to change your mind. Like, I don't like you like that, I'm gonna change your mind, I'm gonna do all this. And there's guys that really go their whole life. I call it one-itis. You know what that is? There's only one person. You have one-itis. It has to be her. To me, like, I think there's multiple partners for everyone. It's just where you're at in life. Like, what could have been a good partner for you at 20 is not going to be a good partner for you at 25. But that same person might not have been wrong or good for you. Does that make any sense? Like, there's multiple people that are going to come in your life. It's just where you're at in your life to attract it, to accept it, to love it. Like, there's people you're going to meet all your life that could have been your partner. Mm-hmm. There's good. Everyone's good. Everyone's good. Everyone's bad. It depends on the person they're with. You might have someone that cheats on this person and then is super faithful to the next because of the rent. This guy has 20% in my head. Mm-hmm. That one only had 5%. So why be with him? Why marry that person? Mm-hmm. Why? Because, puppy love. But if you put it to an equation, like, I think you really have to ask yourself, how much does this person have in my head? Does my reticular activating system show me more guys or close that door? Because mine's closed. Like, it's like, I'll be at the bar and I don't pay attention to women. You've seen how you've been there. Like, I'm just there to get my check. And I've seen girls, like, ask their boyfriends, why isn't he looking at me?
Asking their boyfriends?
Yeah, right in front. Yeah. Like, doing stuff and I don't pay attention. Like, what? You're aggressive. So to me, it's like, if you don't show attention, you're aggressive, you're rude, and this and that. But if you show too much attention, you're a creep and you're not liked. So me, I'm just a married man. Like, I tell them, I'm like, all the time, like, oh, you're so sorry. I'm not gonna even entertain that thought. Like, get that shit out of your head. Like, no, it's not fucking possible. It's just not. And it's because she pays the rent in the head. There's no room. But when you're with someone where you're kind of curious, that's not the one. Because when you're with the right person, your reticular activating system shuts the fuck off.
Wow.
I'm being honest.
That's cool.
Like, because think about it. You can be with someone and then you're still curious. Yeah. Why would you be curious if that's the one? Because you're big. A lot of people don't even understand the activating system. But if you think about it, it closes it off, right?
Yeah, but then again, there are so many emotions that happen within a marriage where you just kind of get turned off to your own partner for maybe a year, for maybe their 40s when they have their midlife crisis, or hormonal damage, maybe getting off birth control.
So you think that the rent frees up?
Well, that's what I'm assuming. I think that maybe you're like, you're going through your hormonal changes, because women's hormones will literally change who they view as attractive, especially if they're on birth control, because birth control will jack up your satisfaction and your drive and who you're attracted to. So when that stuff happens, maybe your reticular activating system's like, there's better out there.
Okay. Then you should pursue it.
But I would like to believe that it shuts off.
I mean, for men it does. You're saying the hormones and stuff like that. I can see that happening, but I would hope that it doesn't change how much rent I have in your head. Whether you're sexually attracted at the moment, because the women do go through the phases, like, I'm not in the mood, or I have a headache, or this and that. I like to have an open relationship to where, like, I understand. Like, men should understand their women, and give them that space and give them that place to be emotional, But I would hope that just because your hormones are going through your thing, I still rent the same percentage. Mm-hmm. Like, why would that change?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe at that point you just depend on habit.
Yeah, I mean, but why would that change? Like, why would you give up, like, start being curious. If your hormones are making you not attracted to this person, why would you be attracted to someone else?
Curiosity.
But I'm renting the space in your head.
Yeah.
So for you to give up that, for it to be that easy, then that's not like I don't agree. I don't think, but I don't know because I'm not a woman and I don't go through those emotions. I'm more logical. So it's like for me, I don't care what happens. Like if you rent the space in my head, you rent the space in my head. If you don't, it's over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm too old. So it's like, hey, this is what's going on in my head. Like, what do we do about it? Having that conversation versus being curious and making my wife look stupid. Mm-hmm. Cause that's the big thing too. Like, you know, to me, especially for women, I think it's so embarrassing when women are hitting on guys in front of their boyfriends or even doing that. So it's different. Okay, let's not talk about the double standard, but it's different. Women, it's embarrassing for guys versus like if I do you think that's embarrassing to you? Like if I were to talk to another girl, like let's say you're in a relationship with someone and a guy talks to another girl, your boyfriend's talking to another female, is that embarrassing to you?
If they flirt,
it'd be embarrassing.
Yes. Okay. It'd be disrespectful and common sense.
Right.
And how dare he ever do that around me?
Right. So it's like the same thing, but women don't see it that way. So I already know that. You know, that's why I'm asking you. Like I know that anything I do is going to affect you. Peace of mind. But women are like, oh, I didn't have no interest in it. But he does. That guy does. So it's like, same thing. You have to cut off the friends. Because women think that just because we don't have no interest in it, it's an emotion. Like, I don't know why, but like, I don't have no interest in it. It's not a big deal. Like, I just said hi to him. Da, 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 da. Yeah, but I saw him looking at your ass, you know? Versus a guy, we know better. So we know that it's going to be embarrassing. We know that it's not the right thing to do. Like, and most married men don't do that. Most married men, in my personal opinion, at my age, who are paying the right rent in the head, wouldn't even entertain anything like that. But what I'm seeing in this day and age is women do entertain that.
You think that'll ever change? And maybe that'd be the reason why marriages aren't really much of a thing?
I don't. I think it's up to people like us to talk and to help people realize that maybe you shouldn't get married. You know, if you are flirtatious still, or even guys, like if you got a wandering eye, like you should get that fixed. You need to get that fixed because why marry a girl if you're gonna every time you're with your wife in the store you're looking at someone's butt? You know, like to me it's like why? And that's all time. So it's funny if statistics, we're at an all-time high in divorces. We're at the all-time high of guys between the ages of 18 and 30 being virgins. We're also at the all-time high of people being single. Like working women are single.
Yeah.
So it's like
something's
everything's at a high. Like what is it? You know? And it's like I never really got into this stuff. I just started talking about it because this is what people ask me. Like I want to motivate guys to be better. Become the best version of yourself. Become the person that attracts what you see. That's my motto. You have to become the person that attracts what you see. If you want to fix your finances, you have to become an accountant. You got to become an accountant with your money. If you want to get in shape, you got to become a bodybuilder. You have to become a dieter. You have to become someone that attracts that. You can't just say, oh yeah, my New Year's resolution is to get in shape, and you don't change. You literally have to become the person that attracts what you seek. That's what I preach. But what most guys are asking is advice about girls. And I can look at them like, bro, you're not even like at your peak. You got to drop some weight. You got to do like, for you to even have the best options and best chances to attract what you seek, you got to do the work. Nobody wants to do the work. They just ask the questions.
And the work, go into that. What's the work?
So I think that all guys should be able to take care of themselves. So before you even get in a relationship, you got to move out of your mom's house. You got to, I wouldn't even like consider marriage with roommates. Like I would be on my own, you know, or at least be able to cover the bills, but having roommates in my house just to stack more money. Mm-hmm. But if they left, I had it covered. I made enough to do that.
Yeah.
Then, you know, your physical appearance, that's super important. But then this is the most important thing. like being mentally stable, having emotional discipline, and knowing how to lead are what's going to keep a woman. Because hormones, emotions, when in your relationship, they happen all the fucking time. And if a man engages in that, it can be over. We have to have emotional discipline to be like, okay. Or look, this is why this is going on. Like, hey, look, you got to realize that this action that you're doing is causing these issues. Like, look, I'm pointing it out to you. This is why I say this. This is why I do this. This is that. You got to be able to have that logic versus like, let's say, a woman might feel this way and we engage it. That's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
It's going to make it worse versus, okay, I understand what you're saying. You are mad that I said this. But if you go a little bit further, this is what inspired that. You have to be able to realize that, babe. You have to be able to see that inspired me to do this. Okay. Versus like, oh, fuck, well, just gauge. And emotional discipline is super important for men, because if you, like, let's talk about like hurting people. The man that's emotional discipline is not the dangerous one. It's the ones that can't control their emotions that go killing people and doing all this crazy shit. Emotional discipline men know better. You're in control of your emotions because just like you're emotional, you're not going to go pick something up. Us guys, we get emotional, we have testosterone. So you're missing emotion with anger. Those are dangerous combinations. So as a man, you have to be able to control your emotions, which is emotional discipline. You have to discipline your emotions. We all go through stuff. We all have feelings, but you can't act on them. Mm-hmm. You cannot act on those emotions. I tell my son all the time, like, hey, if you're 18 and you do that to someone, you're going to jail. If someone does something to you and you smack them in the head, you'll go to jail. That's a crime. You can't just beat people up. You can't just hit people. It has to be worth it. Like, you have to be willing to go to jail for it. Because right now it's cute and it's okay. He has bubble issues. Like, he doesn't know how, like, your hair, he'll get in your, what is boundaries? I'm like, you can't do stuff like that, like you can't. And you got to be able to control your emotions because people are going to test you all the time. I see it all the time, men getting angry at work and stuff like that. You can't do that. You can't respond. Especially if you're in management, you can't respond to someone calling you a name or doing that. Mm-hmm. You have to come to my office. So this is a disciplinary action card. You're on thin ice right now. Fuck you, motherfucker. Yeah, okay. You got to be able to control it because you can't engage. Especially being a strong man. Like, you can't do that. Especially with women. Like, you cannot engage in a woman. Like, I've been hit by women. I don't hit them back. Why? Because I'll go to jail. I have emotional discipline to know better. I can see it happening. And that's what emotional discipline is. Like, something happens to you. You think about it before you act. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you know what? That upsets me. But I'm not going to act on it. Because if I do, I can hurt you. Or I can get hurt. Or I can lose my job. Or I can do that. Because I've already been fired for not having emotional discipline. Someone called me a dirty mayate at work, and I punched him. And I thought it was like a racist thing. A Mexican dude, he called me that, and I hit him.
Jeez.
I lost everything. I had just got an apartment. I had just got a car. My life went like this. I was 19, I couldn't pay the rent, so I got evicted. My car got reported like 3 months later. And
Dang.
it just went down this way. All from one punch. All from not controlling my emotional, just my emotions. Like, hey, you dirty man. I hit him.
Did you try to explain yourself?
There was no explanations. Have you heard of Labor Ready? It's a temp agency. So temp agencies, when you're looking for work, they'll give you jobs. And so I was at this place. I was there for like 3 months. I was this close to getting permanent. And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I remember he called me that. I just hit him. I was like, what did you call me? I just hit him. You call me I hit people. That's the only thing you know how to do. It's like, now that I'm older, like, look, there's a right way and a wrong way. And all men need to be able to control their emotions, especially when you're in a relationship, because you're going to be tested. Like, women test men all the time. Like, you're probably testing me right now. Like, it's just in your nature to ask questions like, let me see how you respond to this and respond to that. If you respond in a bad way in which you can't control, just like, we talk about women's emotions, we have those same exact things mixed with testosterone.
So I have my own opinions on it, but right. This is just a very powerful, driven, angry, but really It's a very powerful fire energy. Yeah. Okay.
So let's say
which girls have a little bit of.
Right. You have more estrogen. So when you're sad, you're going to be more emotional, like down, versus wanting to throw a laptop at someone's head. You know, when a guy gets sad, he has testosterone too. And I'm not excusing nothing. What I'm saying is that you need to have emotional discipline to deal with your shit. That's the point blank period. Like, you have to. And that's just a part of it. So if you don't have that, you don't have the roof over your head, like, you're not putting yourself in the best position to win, you know. And you might get a date, you might get this, but, you know, you're not going to ever get that long-term thing until you work on yourself. You do the work, and it's better to just do it in silence by yourself, you know. Like, from the age of 30 to the ages of, I got married last year, I was by myself. I grinded my ass off. My wife knew who I was. I knew who she was. We didn't match at the time. I grinded. I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at. You know, I doubled my income. I did this, I did this, I did that, I did that, I did this. Like, I just worked. I was dating, but nothing was good enough for me. Because the higher that we climb, the more we want, you know, when it comes to that partner. And that's more important, too, for guys to know that the more you have, the more responsible you are, the better you can handle your emotions, the better leader you are, the higher the quality of the women we're going to attract. We're going to attract those great partners, those partners that get your back, that have more to offer than just sex. A lot of people talk about all the offer. Well, you allowed that. Like, you know, you didn't know who you were, and you got with a woman who didn't want to cook, didn't want to help you, didn't want to do anything. They're like, well, it's a free ride. And that's all you got from that. Sometimes, like, if you do A, B, C, and D, I'll give you that. You'll get the cookie. And a lot of relationships like that. Versus when you are so good at what you do, as far as being a man, women are going to be attracted to you. Like, your partner is going to want you, crave you. Like you said, when he comes home, like, I want to be there. Like, oh, yeah. Like, just picture if you weren't attracted to that person and you just were with them. Like, you're going to be like, whatever. And a lot of relationships are like that. Like, I'm a people watcher. Do you watch people?
Yes.
Do you see relationships, like, how backwards some of them are? Like,
yeah.
It's just like,
just look unhappy, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But it's so obvious if you look.
Yeah. And then you see, like, a lot of women lead relationships now. And to me, a man has to lead, because a man will never leave the woman down. So, like, if I'm climbing to here and my wife's here, I'm not going to go to the next step until she comes with me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get her up there. You know, we got to go together or we're going to grow apart.
Yeah.
You got to get it. You got to come. If a girl is leading the relationship and she finds a new power, do you think she's going to bring her man with him? Like, bitch, get it together. Like, I'm on level here. You need to get it together. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not like, okay, let me be the patient. Like, we're more patient, because just like with our children, we're going to be patient with them. We're going to be patient with our wives, too, because we're the leaders. Like, we're leading the whole household.
Yeah.
A woman is going to nourish and do all those things. Ooh, we're in trouble?
That one just cut.
Okay.
So, that's okay, because we have plenty of good stuff.
Okay.
So, we're still on.
What do we do?
No, we just keep going. We'll close it soon, but that one just died.
Okay. What was I saying? Like, so, yeah, whatever.
No,
no,
this is still recording. This is all going on Spotify.
So, I forgot what I was talking about though.
You were talking about when a wife rises up and then she gets to a certain level and a certain place where she's gonna be like, all right, come on, where are you at? Yeah.
So do you think, like, so with women leading relationships, when they level up, do you think they wait for their guy? Would you?
I would try to.
For how long? Would you withhold the next step? So let's say you're here and he's here, and you're already coming here. Would you? I'm gonna wait. Because men, we wait. Like, when we marry a woman, when we know, because you're our partner, you're an asset to us. So it's like, I have to get you to see it this way, because in order to get to the next level, it takes two. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna be like, man, I ain't replace your ass. No, it's like, we got to go together. I believe that's why men lead. You know, they should lead, because we're patient and we know that, hey, when you do your tax return, it's head of household. It's not just head of my kids. I claim my wife too. You know, like, whether, you know, you do your own money, it doesn't matter. I'm head of household. This is you, right? You know, and the whole entire house versus you do you, I'm gonna do me. And when women lead, it's more of that. Like, I'm gonna do me. Whatever you do is fine. Mm-hmm. You know, if you want to be a whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm climbing all the way up here. They're not waiting. You know, and to me, I see like a lot of fit women with fat husbands. They're both out of shape, but the women got the energy to do it. Didn't pull the guy with them.
Yeah.
You see guys like, come on, let's go do this together. Like, guys are trying to get their wives to do it with them. From my perspective, my opinion. Like I said, this is all opinions, you guys. Like, I'm not writing a book about it, but like, this is just my opinion.
It's sparking.
I think that, you know, when men lead, we carry our wives with us. You know, we don't want them to stay down. We want to bring, hey, look, I just experienced this new flavor. I need you to try it. Like, every time I get something new, I'm like, hey, baby, you gotta try it.
Yeah.
She'll do stuff like, oh, my bad. You want it? Like, oh, you tried it already? Like, you know, because they're just on their own mission. Like, women don't have, like, for the kids, absolutely. Like, oh, they're gonna take care of them kids, but when it comes to men, it's like, you're late. Sorry. Try again next time.
Yeah.
You know, sorry. You know, but for us, it's like, hey, I need my wife to try it too. Like, I can't try it yet. Baby, all right, I tried it yet. What? You did? You know, and I just think that that's why we're meant to lead. Mm-hmm. It's a choice for women to lead. I truly believe that. You know.
Yeah, I heard that one. Yeah. On the podcast.
Because I believe it. This is what I believe, and this is what I practice in my life. And you know, when it comes to the guys that are, you know, coming up and asking these questions and stuff, you should lead.
Yeah.
Try to lead now. You know, because you're gonna have a better relationship if you lead. Mm-hmm. Like, if you can lead your woman, she's gonna follow you to the end of the world. You know, but if you can't lead, she's gonna make you follow her. And how long until you get bored of that? Like, how long until you start making, you know, putting a for rent sign in your head? In order for that to really be occupied by a man, they have to lead. Mm-hmm. Because now you need him. We don't need money no more. Like, you don't need money. Go make your own money. You can. It's so easy. You can make $1 million right now. Mm-hmm. But a strong man who can show you what to do with that, or how to put it here, or how to do that, you're still learning that part. So it's not about money anymore. Before, women needed money, they needed this, needed that. You need a masculine role model, because you look up to your father. Most women do look up to something, you know, and when you're with a man that you can follow, you're more than likely to follow him. And you're not going to be looking elsewhere because you have it. That's the missing part, you know. I don't think it's, sex has a part to do with it, money has a part to do with it, but let's say you can't follow a man. How is the sex is already gonna be whack because you're not even like into him like that. Mm-hmm. Like, you're meant to follow a guy. And I truly believe that. Like, we're meant to lead, but if we're not coming into a relationship as leaders, like, if I'm like, so what do you want to eat? I'm already making you a leader. Mm-hmm. From the first date, from the very first date. Hey, so what do you want to do? Anything you want. We'll do anything you want. I'm putting you in the lead. Mm-hmm. Now I'm following you. Yeah,
and it's like an ingredient that you need in order to lead, because sometimes following is in most areas looked down upon, but it's more of like we provide different skills, different powers to nurture, to be compassionate, to connect with hearts and souls in a very deep way, and to be able to like bring up. Yeah.
I think even making it fun. Like, I have an idea and you're gonna make it fun. Like, you know, and guys are afraid of picking wrong, but let's say I pick a date that sucked. You're gonna be like, I'm following this guy and I'm gonna show him how to make it fun. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah, you thought this, good job. I'll give you kudos. This is gonna make it fun. Oh, cool. All right, I just wanted you to be happy. Like, I thought this big idea up, you know. And women can make anything fun. I truly believe, like, you do something with a girl to me. That's why I like companionship, because a woman's companionship is awesome. You know, like, they make anything fun, from watching fucking 50 Shades of Grey. Like, if I watch it by myself, it's not gonna be as entertaining. Watch it with a woman, like, it's gonna be fun. We can turn anything fun. I truly believe that. We're more like, I thought of that.
I wish I got your reaction on that.
But, you know, it's really like, women makes things fun. So it's like, in the beginning of a relationship or anything, if you're asking what to do, like, you're putting her in that lead role, versus like, hey, I came up with this idea. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And then, you putting your input on it. But I think you're going to be more attracted to the guy that thinks for himself versus like, hey, so what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Well, if I really wanted to pick something to do, I would do it by myself. So, like, you might not say that, but
true.
you might think that, like, if I wanted to, like, plan my own date, I would just go do it myself. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like, tell me what you want, and I think, and as that relationship grows, it's up to a man to, make it a democracy. And, okay, my wife likes this, and this. I like this. So sometimes I'm going to do this. Sometimes I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm going to do this. Sometimes I'm going to do this. My wife loves sushi. I like wings. We alternate. But I know exactly where to go. And then sometimes I might ask her, I'm like, hey, you want sushi today? Oh, you go get wings. Like, I know you want wings. So it's like we built that relationship to where, I consider us like equals. And in different aspects. Like, I might do this one job, but my job can't be done without her doing her job. So it doesn't mean that you're lesser or higher. It's like, it's not like vice president, what's it called? I mean, president, vice president, it's more like partner.
Yeah.
And if you don't do your job, my job don't work.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't do my job, your job don't work. So it's like, we're partners in this relationship. I don't think she's under me. I don't think I'm above her. Like, we're here. But if you don't do your part, I can't do my part. If I don't do my part, you can't do your part. And in order for it to get that way, a man has to lead. You have to lead. You have to try. And I think guys are afraid to guide and to lead, and they think that they're going to get rejected or it's not going to work, so they just try to follow the girl, thinking that that's what she wants. But in reality, I think a woman would rather go follow a guy down a bad idea than to.
I've seen a lot of that.
I mean, what do you mean?
I've seen a lot of women just seeing a man's ability to lead, even if it's a pointless path or a path astray. But also I've seen a lot of women that are with men that aren't very stepping into their masculine, their leadership. They're just like, this is how things are going to go. And we're a team about it. When I don't see that, and they're with guys that just are like, whatever you say, the wife just has to step in this more dominant majority masculine, and it doesn't seem very it's like, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look like they're flowing, that yin yang balance of flow. It's like she calls the shots, she does whatever she wants, and he assists because she's pretty dominating. But that's like not our genuine nature. And
then how can you want to have sex with that?
Yeah.
Because sex should be a desire on both, not just guys.
Yeah.
And women should want their partner too. They do, when it's in the right role. Like, when a man is leading, a woman wants that guy.
Exactly.
Versus, you get these, it's not the time, we only have sex once a month, because she's leading. She's in control of that department, versus the guy, like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. She's like, whenever you want it, it's good. Yeah, I want it too. It's not even a debate. It's like, yeah, come on. I've been waiting, versus like, no, once a month or planned sex and shit like that. But I think it's awesome to talk about stuff like this. Thank you for having me. And,
this is a really good episode. Yeah. I'm super excited about this one.
I'm excited too, and I hope it sparks conversations amongst young people to question things, to question their feelings, to question their rent space. Don't marry a guy if he only has 10%. Like, if you still think about other guys, don't get married. And don't feel bad for having a companion. That's all I want to put out there. I'm not saying to go look for a companion, but if you're a good girl, Christian family, and you are a little promiscuous, everyone has it. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's 2023 almost.
Yeah.
Like, why go down that path of swipe left, swipe right, swipe left, and experience all those bad shit if you meet a guy that gets it? I'm pretty sure everyone meets a guy that gets it, and like, hey, whatever. And they're probably gonna be a little older than you, but like, why not? That's all I was saying. It's like, I'm not. It wasn't like a bad thing or anything. I'm just like, but what? Why not? Like, why go down this whole path of, I don't want to be married, and I'm a friend zone everyone. Like, what if you met that guy and you just put it out there, like, you know what? I am attracted to you, but right now in my life, I'm not there yet. But I would like to eat with you and stuff like that. If it happens, it happens. Who gives a fuck? You think he's gonna say no?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. People don't really care as much as you think.
Yeah.
In general, just live your life.
Yeah.
Do what feels right. Do what feels best. Be wise and go after whatever you feel right. Because at the end of the day, you cannot care what people think because no one really cares anyways.
Yeah. And that guy that you gave that could be a fling for 3 years. And you're still pure, you know, versus swipe left, made a mistake. Made a mistake, 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 made a mistake. And then this is true too, where if you sleep with too many people, you might not ever be able to settle down because you don't know what to feel. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't feel special anymore.
Yeah.
You know, versus like when you do and it feels special, you know? Yeah. And it's different for girls and guys. Like guys can sleep with 1 million people and it doesn't matter. Women, it's different. Like I feel like a piece of your soul departs every guy.
Yeah,
you know,
you want to keep your number low because that's how you keep your value high. But guys,
your emotions too. Like, you know, when you meet girls, carry trauma because they gave you a piece of them and it didn't go right. So then they go into next relationship with this piece of chip, kind of. You know, I always hear about you know girls who got hurt and they're still, like you said, the person is taking up the rent in their head, versus just like having that one good guy. You know, he's a companion for you and he didn't do nothing wrong and he's totally okay with it. He might have 3 other friends, you know, and you guys are doing it safely or whatever, and he's just your go-to guy. Like you're on your grind, you don't want to sleep around, but you have that go-to guy who gets it, who you're actually attracted to. That's rare, but they're there, you know. Instead of having 50 guy friends who you don't like there's nothing there, and then you're just like, oh man, and then you go get drunk one night and you have a one night stand, oh I did this, and like you can prevent all that by having a companion.
Yeah, gosh. You didn't talk about this on Daniel's podcast.
I did it.
Yeah, I've never heard of companion versus friend.
Because it just comes up as it goes. Like I said,
yeah,
it just
we were flowing this whole time.
You said so. I don't know what sparked it, but I'm like, well, why not? 'Cause we're talking about like friend zones or whatever. I'm like, well, what about the guy who does everything right, but you don't want to settle with them? It's not because of him, because most guys you friend zone because you don't want nothing to do with them. But what about the guy that you don't want to friend zone, but you don't want to be with because you got shit on your plate?
Yeah.
Why can't he just be your companion?
Yeah. That's funny. I'm going to have to listen to this and really think about it and be like, yeah.
This is just to spark the brains of
right.
people, you know,
but there's so many sparks in my mind that I'm going to have to really think these things out because they're all new philosophies to me. But thank you so much for coming on to this show. No, I'm a little bummed that camera sparked a little bit, but...
Why don't we just cut this whole part out?
I don't know how to do that. Oh. I'm learning. I jumped into this pretty quickly. Yeah. But thank you for coming on. We're going to do multiple.
Okay.
I declare I plan on doing multiple series about this topic because one, a lot of people aren't comfortable talking about it. Right. Everybody wants to hear about it.
Right.
No one wants to come in with their personal experience. I don't want to. Yeah. But to help people, to get people's minds right about something that we all want and crave is awesome, and you're after it. Like that's your whole message.
Oh, it's because I'm telling you, when I was driving here, I got that question. Like, what about guys who don't feel spark? I was like, well, I never really thought about that. Like, but if you don't feel a spark, you should go. Same thing with girls. But what if you feel a spark and you don't want a relationship? Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Yeah. 2 different options for guys and girls. Yeah. For sure.
So it's just interesting that these are the questions that people do want to know. And I can put all the positivity out talking about this and that, this and that.
Yeah.
But what about girls? What about that? I'm like, well, send me your picture. That's why I like to ask, like, well, how old are you? What's your, like, you like, well, why are you even worried about it? Because your options will get better the better you are. Because you don't want to meet that great girl or even that great guy. Meet that great partner and you're not there yet to where you get overlooked. If you just do your job, look at yourself, get good at yourself, be you, the best version you can, write it down, your reticular activating system comes in play. You got your whole life ahead of you. It's like, why settle for less than what we want? And a lot of people, they have these unicorns in their head. It's a unicorn until it's on paper. So you guys, put it on paper. You know, if you're at that stage in your life where you're looking for that, you know, put it on paper, but make sure that you are in the position to attract it, you know, to, you know, become the person that attracts what you seek. So if you want this thing, you got to become that person. Yeah. You know, so you're not going to get a high value guy in the club. You know, they're there for one thing, but you might get him at a steakhouse or there. You got to become that person that is in those environments. Yeah. You know, you're never going to find them or find anything in that matter in the wrong places. So it's just food for thought, you know, and it's magical, just how it happens, like microwave. Like, I never thought I would have met her crossing paths at the microwave. Never even pay attention to her. You know, I worked there. Never. There's the microwave. Oh, you meal prep too? Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I didn't talk to you about this before, but if you do have questions, if you do need advice from a man, from either perspective, guy or girl, you can reach out, because that's like your mission, to really help people. And like that's always an option, to get better perspective, to get more wisdom, to feel encouraged, to shoot your shot, whatever that looks like. You can reach out to Randall. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Enjoy your day. Keep elevating. Goodbye.
Bye.